How's it going, everyone? It's Alex with AC Flips on YouTube. I'm a full-time six-figure Amazon seller. In today's video, I wanted to walk you guys through the steps it takes to finding a prep center and then reaching out to that prep center to potentially have a partnership and work with them. Whenever I make content about prep centers on Instagram, I get a lot of questions asking how I found mine and things of that nature. So I thought I would make an easy video, just kind of breaking down the steps it takes to getting a prep center, certain things you can do to find them, and maybe certain things to ask them to be able to work with them. So the nice thing about a prep center with your Amazon business is they want your business as much as you want theirs, right? Your goal for the prep center is to offload the time it takes for you to prep the stuff yourself. You don't have to see any of the inventory. It all gets prepped for you and sent into Amazon. It takes a lot of time as a seller, I would know from personal experience. And the amount of time it's saving me not having to prep everything adds so much more time for me to do other things and scale the business that much quicker. And from the prep center side of view, they want to be bringing on more clients because that just means more money for their business. So unless the prep center is at capacity and they're not taking on new clients, most of the time you're gonna find these prep centers want to work with new Amazon sellers. So certain things to think about when looking for prep centers is, where is it located? We want to make sure that it's in a tax-free state, or at least a state that does tax-free in a certain category that you source often. And then we want to understand what kind of prices do they charge for prep fee? Do they charge extra for bags? Do they charge more for shoes, say? Do they charge for multi-packs? All of these things are important to think about when looking for a prep center, because if you do a lot of vitamins and multi-packs and they're adding $1 for every multi-pack, maybe it's not as profitable as finding another place that has an all-in cost that includes bags and multi-packs. There's certain ones out there that do that. There's certain that don't. Most prep centers that I've come across, you can expect to pay anywhere from $1 to $2 per item. Now, all prep centers usually charge per item. Some of them include bags in their prep cost, and some add a 20 cents per item charge for the bag itself. So in the beginning, you're just gonna have to realize that you're probably gonna spend close to $2 per item for the prep center to prep these items. Now, as you do larger volumes, usually they have price breaks. So you send in 1,000 items, you get a 10-cent discount, or you send 2,000 items, you get a 30-cent discount. Whatever it is with the prep center, usually they have that pricing information on their websites. But for a lot of states, sales tax is, anywhere from 5 to 8%. So you're removing that sales tax, adding a prep fee. But if you're sourcing expensive enough items, the prep fee actually might be cheaper than the amount of sales tax that you would have gotten charged shipping it to your house. So there's only 5 sales tax-free states in the US: Alaska, Delaware, Montana, New Hampshire, and Oregon. Obviously, we're probably not gonna pick Alaska just because the shipping times and the cost might be more expensive to ship to Alaska, so we'll wanna pick from the other 4. Let's pick Oregon, for example. So now there's a couple ways we can actually find prep centers in these states, and one is through searching on social media. A lot of times these prep centers do have Instagrams because they're looking to connect with other Amazon sellers who do have Instagrams or Twitters or LinkedIn. And if you do some simple searching on these sites, you might be able to find a prep center that way. You can also reach out to friends or other Amazon sellers in the community, and they might be willing to share a prep center that they've been using that they really like, or at least put you in the right direction or give you a referral to a certain prep center that they've worked with in the past. The other option is to do a simple Google search. You're just basically going to search prep centers in Oregon, or Amazon prep centers in Oregon, or Oregon prep centers for Amazon sellers, however you want to write it, but that should bring up a list of different prep centers that specifically work with Amazon sellers in that specific state. Now you're going to have a bunch of different prep centers to sort through. You go to their website, you look for an email or a phone number, and you make the call or you send that email. So now's the part where, how do we reach out to them, or what do we say to a prep center to want them to work with us? Ideally, you have an email address with your business name in it, not just a Gmail account, but that's not a huge deal to a lot of prep centers because really the Amazon presence and the number of items you're going to be sending to that prep center is the key for them. Some prep centers have a minimum number of items you need to send to them per month to be able to work with them. A lot of times it's anywhere from 400 to 500. But if you think about that, that's really only 100 items per week. If you're able to send in 100 items per week or more, you should clear their minimums pretty easily. So what you want to do when you reach out to these prep centers is, state your name and your business. Tell them that you're an Amazon seller looking to offload some prep work that you've been doing onto a prep center. So you want to bring on some fulfillment, and make sure you tell them how many units you expect to send per month, or at least what you think you can send in the next few months if you are able to scale now having a prep center instead of prepping items yourself. Right? Maybe you have all this extra time to source, and you should be able to increase the amount of items you would normally send now in the next couple months. Now, don't get discouraged if they don't reach out right away. It doesn't hurt to give them a call after you sent an email just to make sure that they've gotten that email, they've seen it, and then hopefully you get some follow-up on the next steps. Once you find that prep center that's willing to reach out to you, make sure you do ask them a couple of those questions that I mentioned at the beginning. Like, you want to make sure you know what kind of fees they offer added on to the original prep cost. Is everything included? Do they do multi-packs? How do they handle returns? There's just a bunch of different questions that you would ask that you would normally be doing yourself, but now you have to trust someone else to do. If you're confident that this prep center can do all of the things that you would normally be doing, prepping the items yourself, then you might as well go ahead and send some test orders to them. A lot of prep centers don't have a specific contract that you have to work with them for a certain period of time. So it can be pretty easy to send products to them. If you don't like them, you can look for another prep center and you can send products to them as well. Once you find that prep center that you really like, you start sending in a ton of product, you have more time for sourcing, and you can scale the business so much more quickly. So those are the basic steps on how to find a prep center, how to reach out to them, and hopefully you find one very quickly because, like I said, the prep centers want to work with you as much as you want to work with them because they're trying to grow their business as well. Hopefully you guys found these tips helpful. If you did, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video.